Hello, welcome back to another video. It's been a long time since we last posted another one. I think it's been about 6 months or so. So I decided, as I'm in the workshop now, today, it's nearly Christmas, so I'm going to do another workshop update. We'll get that done, get it posted up. Today we've got some signs to make up. We have got some orders for some shirts, but I don't have the shirts in stock, so they've been ordered. And yeah, we'll just make up the signs as we go along. We'll talk about it, and we will see what we're doing and how we're doing it, and what we're going to be doing next year, because we've got some big plans afoot. Number one being, I know I spoke about it for ages, is to actually get out of this garden workshop. But yeah, anyway, right, let's cut to the bit where we're actually doing some interesting stuff and it's not just my hands talking away. Let's go. Well, the good news is, while these were cutting, I was able to find the t-shirt for the t-shirt order, so we'll be able to get that done. Right, a few things with this. I left the vinyl in the cutter over the weekend, so it's been in there for a few days, and I thought normally 9 times out of 10 you just have to undo the pinch rollers at the back, straighten it up a little bit, do them back up, and then it cuts it. But with this one, it obviously got a bit cold in here, so I don't know if you can see. I'll try and hold it the best I can. So as you can see there on the E, it actually messed up the cut altogether. And there was another one I spotted as well. But yeah, there on the Y, you should be able to see that one where it's actually picked it up and it's left us with like a skew whiff one. So yeah, that was me just rushing and not being very sensible enough. So cut them off, and then rather than trying to rush it, I rotated them round so it's one on top of the other. Show you now. So there we go. So rather than having them side by side, just rotated it around. To be honest, the difference in the cost between doing it this way and doing it the other way is only pence, so it doesn't really matter. Having people ordered the same sign at the same time, as we spoke about in previous videos, where everything tends to come in waves, I think it's mainly due to when eBay listings ending, is quite common. But to have 2 people order 2 A5 aluminium signs at the same time is quite uncommon. While we're on the subject of aluminium signs, just as we weed out this one, I was left a negative feedback on eBay, which I wasn't best pleased with. Somebody ordered an aluminium sign, which is obviously one of these things. We all know what they are: aluminium composite material, ACM. So you've got 2 bits of aluminium in between the bit there. And they said that the sign I sent them was not an aluminium panel. So I had a bit of a go at them over the messages, because even if you were to strip out the composite, the aluminium there is still going to be sturdy enough to be a panel, but because it's in with the composite, that just gives it that little bit extra strength. So you see the aluminium there is something like 0.3 mils. I think it was the last time I looked. Anyway, if you was to strip it off, yes, it would flex a bit, but they were trying to claim it was aluminium and like foil, rather than it being a panel. So yeah, they left me a negative feedback. I was not very happy, but I went to eBay and eBay didn't do anything about it. So it's just one of those things you have to chalk up to experience, I suppose. This job would be so easy if it wasn't for the customers. That noise you can hear in the background, if you can hear the humming, that is actually the cutter. I've just left it switched on. Still using the P-Cut PC I think it's 630, I think it's that one. The same one as we've always been using in the past. If you've watched a few of the other videos, you'll know that we did have a desktop cutter that we did a review video of. It was actually the last video we posted, which is nearly 6 months ago. That is still about somewhere. I think it's up on one of the shelves. I just don't have the room in the workshop to actually have it out all the time. We've had a bit of a play with it, but it doesn't seem to be very good for doing these sort of things that we do here. And you might also know that we've got a Silhouette 2, and if you watched previous videos you would see that that was all packaged up, and it still is. We will get around to getting it out and doing a video on it at some point. I expect that will be when they bring out, I expect at the rate we're going at the minute, by the time they bring out the Silhouette 87, you know, we'll actually get our review video of the Silhouette 2 done and out. So yeah, all I'm doing here is just a rough cut. I don't need it to be exactly perfectly right at the minute. Now with these ones, because these are going onto the A5 boards, they're A5 size, what we do is from the end of this long bar that's in the middle, we align them so as they go 5mm either side. So because of that, I trim them in quite close. So from there to the side edge is going to be 5mm. So I trim it up, I get it in nice and tight, and I go and mess that one up. Always the way you do it on video, you mess it up. There we go, that's better. Went out a bit far on that one, is that going to be enough? And I'll just bring it in just a tad. This blade needs changing. These knives are just ones you pick up in any pound store. Snap off the blade, get a new sharp one. Yeah, so just anything like that. Just pick them up in pound stores, Poundland, Pound World. And then obviously, as you just saw, when the blades are done, just snap them off. Take a bit more off that one. So yeah, we've been saying for ages that we've got plans to move out of here and to get to somewhere else, and I was hoping so much that by this time we would actually be out of here and we would have our own little place somewhere. But unfortunately, what with one thing and another, it just hasn't happened. And I've got a couple of other companies, and the work that I've been required to do with them has just kind of like taken over any expansion plans I've had with this. So with all the signs and the clothing and other stuff like that, it's just gone onto the back burner. We've been able to keep up with orders from our existing range of products, but I just haven't had the time, the chance or the opportunity to expand anything any further. So we are hoping in the new year, because one of my other businesses also needs a new premises, but we'll be able to combine the two and we'll be able to get out with this, and then fingers crossed might even be able to take on a person just purely to make the signs. That's the plan anyway. But then we've had plans all of this year that we would be getting out of here and we'd be doing other things. But we'll just wait and see. Wait and see what the new year brings. And fingers crossed we'll get there. Oh, that's twice now. I've lined it up, I've moved something, and it's moved. Right, let's put that back there. So yeah, if you are a new subscriber to the channel, hello, welcome. I know since the last time I posted a video, the subscriber count has nearly doubled. Which, although that would sound cracking for some of the bigger channels, we've gone from 100 to 200, which is like brilliant. I'm really chuffed with that. And what we do is I'm just a bloke. I'm in my shed, in my garden, and I just make signs and clothing and basically anything else that requires the vinyl cutter. And we do stuff with vinyl cutters, and we test stuff, and we look at things, and we review things, and various little bits and pieces like that. So welcome along. And if you're new and you're not a subscriber, then just go down and click that subscribe button. At the current rate of my posting, you'll get another video in 6 months' time. No, actually you won't. You'll get one in a couple of weeks' time, because we got that planned. I don't post every single week. I just can't find the time at the minute to be able to do that. So, right. Normally, you'd leave these just to sit for a few minutes. It's not important, but it just allows everything just to rest up and sit up. Yeah, stick up, sorry, stick. So there we go. 2 outdoor signs, aluminium, sturdy, for 2 orders for 2 different people. Yep, next. Just while we're on the subject of these signs, anything up to A4 size, we just place them in a do not bend envelope. So they go as normal Royal Mail postage. They just go through the normal post because they will fit through everybody's letterbox, or most people's letterboxes. So yeah, just in case you were wondering, that's how we do it. So yeah, on to the next one.
Shall we begin? Christmas Day on 5.
Okay, so this one's a little bit different. Rather than going onto the aluminium board, it's going onto the foam board. Now we have actually upgraded the foam board that we use. It's still the Foamex type of stuff, so it's the PVC coated stuff. So it can be used indoors and outdoors. But we used to do it with 3mm, but we ended up having issues of actually being able to get hold of it all the time, because I like to order in where it's already been cut out to the size that we need. So we upgraded that from 3mm to the 5mm, and that gives us a lot more rigidity, if that's a word, I presume it is, to the sign. And yeah, it just makes things a little bit easier. We haven't had anybody complain. yet. No doubt there will be at some point somewhere along the line. But yeah, just doing it up to the 5mm. So the difference between this and the aluminium is that this is lighter, even though it's thicker. This is more for the temporary outdoor signs rather than the permanent outdoor signs, which is what the aluminium would be for. Now, this isn't my spacing, my creating of this one, because this was done by a customer and this is how they wanted the sign to be laid out. Obviously, if I was to do it myself and do my own layout, I would probably do the private parking larger, and I would have private, and then underneath that I would have parking, just to get it spaced out a little bit better. Let's try and get it lined up first. No, I want it at that one there, don't I? So that'll do like that. One thing you have to be careful of if you do these, that was my phone, that's just a WhatsApp message that's come through. It was my phone, not yours. Yeah, that's right, put your phones down. One thing you have to be careful of is when you get ones like this, where it comes through and you've got the lowercase ones, is that I quite often find that you lift off the backing paper and you just glance at it quickly before you chuck it in the bin, and there's one of the dots of the eyes is left on there. Ah, damn. Done that quite a few times. But now we make sure, I don't know if you spotted how I checked and double checked and rolled it, and just to make sure that it does not come off with that. Right, there we go. So with these, peel it off. Now, because of the way how I peeled that off at the end, try and hold that up. I don't know if you can see that under the. Hold it. Under the G and the N is where you're looking. There's a couple of air bubbles. I can't see the screen on the camera close enough, but they're tiny, tiny little things. And if your customers ever come back and say there's air bubbles under it, that's fine. Within a week, they'll be gone. They just go naturally. So right, I'm going to package this one up, and then we're going to move on to the t-shirts, and I'll be back in just a second with that. Okay, so there we go, all ready for the t-shirt now. This is the t-shirt vinyl. As always, we had to up the pressure on the vinyl cutter, and we had to cut it in mirror. I don't know why, but on my little screen I've got on my camera, it looks like it's reading do not disturb, but the one I'm actually looking at is reading that way round, so it's actually backward. So I've got the clothing vinyl is on top and the clear sheet is underneath here. If I turn it over like it's going to be laid down onto the t-shirt, I've got the clear sheet on top and the clothing vinyl underneath. So yeah, if you're wondering, I'm not sure if it's flipped it or reversed it or quite what's going on there. So anyway, I've had my let's turn you back. I've had the heater on, the press, so that's been going. I found out the t-shirt that we're doing. See, this is going to be one of the beauties of getting a new workshop somewhere. It'll mean I'll just be able to set this up in a place where I can actually swing it open. I just need to double check on the computer here. Just bear with me a second, just talk amongst yourselves. It won't be long. But the speed of the internet connection out here is like... It is wired connection, but it's still, oh, god earthly slow. I've got one of those little what do they call them, the like 4G wireless dongle thingies that I'm contemplating whether to rig up in here, because I don't ever view any sort of video or anything like that on here, so it isn't going to use up huge amounts, but it might just be quicker than how we've got it currently set up. If you use one of them, let us know, leave us a comment down below, because I've heard of people being able to do VoIP over them and everything. Oh crikey, now it's saying it can't be reached because the site's IP addresses. Oh dear. Right, anyway, I believe it goes on the back. I believe this design does. So, right. First things first, we put the Teflon sheet in. Oh, that's too much. That's better. Give it a press for about 10 seconds. You'll be able to see the steam rising off of it. A bit like a hubble bubble toilet in trouble. And all this is doing is it's just forcing all the moisture that's contained within the t-shirt, just forcing it all out. So as we then have a dry surface. I think, yeah, the problem with my internet is actually indoors, it's not out here. So sod it, leave it as it is for the minute. So yeah, that's been, I don't know, has that been 10 seconds, 20 seconds? It doesn't really matter. There's no sort of great shakes over this one, because all you're doing is just a pre-press. As you know, we've been over this a million times before. So next you take your design. Lay your design down and measure. And that's pretty much there. That's what experience does. If you've just been able to lay it on there and you get it so it's pretty much there. Right, next up, swing it back in. Oh, I'm just going to wait a second because you can't quite see it, but if I do that you can see it's just dropped down to 149 and it's meant to be 160. So I'm just going to wait a second just while it goes back up again. Like, I know these things aren't 100% accurate, but I'd much rather have it off by a couple of degrees than have it off by 10 degrees. There we go, that'll do. Press the timer, but this is MDP Hot Flex, so it's 15 seconds and hot peel. Ah, and the computer's finally decided to load. That was nice and handy. Yeah, it's printed on the back, that's right then. So, although it says 15 seconds, I do give it a couple of seconds either way. I'm not that exacting about things. There we go. Just peel it off, and then what I like to do, trade secret, don't tell anyone. Just after you've peeled it off, just back it back on and give it another 5 seconds. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. That'll do. Just in case, as you peel it off, it lifted off any corners or anything else like that. As it does on occasions. There are times where you do it and yeah, you end up with corners being peeled off. So then, yeah, there you go. I should have one of those on. Except I'm actually working. Yep, excuse you. Except I'm actually working, so yeah, there we go. So right, that's it. That is the end of the video. So, sorry it's been so long. There we go, we got there in the end. I will try to do more updates in the workshop, depending on how much stuff I've got in the workshop and what's going on in the workshop and what I'm actually doing, because I find that a lot of the stuff I do is repeated time and time and time again. Once you've done it once, you're then doing it again and again and again and again. So if you like that sort of thing, leave us a comment, let us know. Interact with us. If you're a new subscriber, hello again, welcome. But until the next video, please like, please comment, please subscribe. And yeah, we'll do more stuff. We've got more stuff planned. We've got more stuff we can do. We can look at more products and everything else like that. So yeah, just leave us ideas, comments, whatever down below. Thanks for watching again. Bye-bye.